Hey guys, this is a video to show you what I have for my Lincoln LS. I'm also naming it the LS500 because hopefully it'll look like a GT500 but with a Lincoln twist. This is what I've created, and it well, it's a cooler, engine cooler. It's actually a heater core with PVC tubing. It's a 6-inch tube. This is a coupler actually, with tubing stuck, glued in on each side, and then cut off practically right at the coupler on each side, so you can actually pre-drill and run in screws to attach things to it. So this is a 1000 CFM coolant fan I bought on Amazon. I think it was like about 15 bucks a piece, so a 2-pack for 30 bucks. I got another one of these down over here I might use for something else. 12 volts, 80 watts. This is also something I bought on Amazon. It's a heater core. Same thing, practically. It takes in cold air, makes it hot. Takes in hot coolant and makes it cold. So hopefully it works pretty well. I actually have one installed on my Lincoln LS, and over time as the engine heats up, it actually does get hot, pretty warm. So on a really hot day, and let's say I have to stop quick and sitting at a light for a long time, engine will build up heat usually, and the system has to work more to get rid of that heat. So this would be great for it because it'll actually suck in as in if you were moving. So yeah, this chunk of aluminum bent all the way around, and of course the heater core came with this foam to attempt to make an airtight seal so your airflow is more efficient, and some screws through the mounting piece. And I suggest if you do this yourself, try to be as careful as possible so you don't run into the fins or anything. The less you bend the fins up, the better, of course. It's kind of why I'm doing this, because my AC condenser right in front of the radiator, great, thanks. Well, they're bolted together, so it's not like I can replace one or the other pretty easily, but AC condenser is harder to replace anyway. But that's all bent up, all the fins are bent up. The CFM of airflow going through it is impeded, and it's not good. So either I got to replace that or find a new way to cool it, or another way to cool it, or both, I suppose. But this will aid in that. Before I install it, I wanted to make a video on exactly how I made it, or kind of how I made it. But there's something I do want to check to make sure I can possibly make it even more efficient. That thing is right here. This is actually 2 pieces of aluminum, and I cut around it to make half of a circle, so when you put it together it's a full circle. So there is an air gap there, which can be fixed with really quickly, some hot glue, because that cures pretty darn quick. But I want to make sure that that's not the only thing, or to make sure that's the only thing, literally, that's possibly avoidable. So I will take this apart. Oh, this is one of my brand new drills, by the way. My dad bought it when it was on sale, so I got a good deal as well. It's an XR brushless hammer drill, I think. Yeah, so, and then one of my flexible batteries. So, and yes, I have no use for flexible batteries right now, because I don't have any flex volt exclusive 60 volt tools. like the air compressor or the power station generator. I actually have a different brand of power generator, but maybe in the future I'll get a DeWalt power station, kind of like what my dad has. It's got a nice one. So, as you can see, actually, from the factory, they put these little clips wherever it's made. It's I can't remember what the brand is actually. So, apparently, it needs some balancing. The heater core is actually a Spectra. So, if you want to look up the same one on Amazon, it's a 94 582 Spectra. From the inside, you can see the tube I glued in here and I cut off. And same on the other side. You can also see the inside and the other side of the heater core, which is kind of cool. Which, whoop-de-doo, right? As I look at it, that's the only place I gotta seal it up. Yeah, everything else is, it's not really worth sealing up if there even is an air gap. So right here is the only two spots. So what I'm going to do, now it sits there pretty good. I got my little Ryobi hot glue gun. So with a 1.5 amp hour, yeah, okay, you don't care. 1.5 amp hour special battery, and it looks like it's almost dead actually. Yes, it is. So, I gotta get another battery. Actually, I think I have one right outside this door. I also finally bought one of these 150 watt Ryobi little inverters, actually, that goes on the 18 volt batteries. And this battery at least has 2 bars, so yes, so that turns on. And these are actually pretty nice. You can charge your phone or run a small AC appliance on it, and there's a light as well. But the bad thing is you gotta have the whole thing on. I assume the inverter as well to run the USB. Thanks a lot, but hey, I'm glad this exists. So the inverter actually sucks more power than it should, so I only get about 2 charges on a battery, big battery, if that's fully charged. And it does actually put off some heat, so you can notice that. So, but yeah. So in the meantime, as this hot glue gun heats up, I'm going to throw this fan back on here. Now, how do I want it? I want the wires on that side. Okay. Yep. Ouch. Just what I need, more metal slivers. Okay, that's really annoying. Exactly what you guys clicked on this video to watch, me pulling out slivers. Actually, now this is staying lined up because of the 2 screws. I'm just going to hold it like this. Well, it's crooked. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Looks like it's heating up a little bit. Obviously, this is thinner material than this. I don't know why. I just decided to, it's what I had on hand, I guess. Yeah, so, oh, this is starting to run. Okay, so go like this, and yeah, let's do this one first. Okay. Hot glue is just such a great tool for people that want to build a lot of things. It's so useful. It's a pretty tough adhesive. It does have its drawbacks, sure. Obviously, it becomes very malleable when it's hot, so it gets rid of some uses, but I suppose I prefer it over siliconing this anyway. But I had this for the longest time. I just didn't use it until I had to use it, obviously. But I got like 20 of these like hot glue sticks. Actually, there's a 20 pack. So I got like a whole bunch of those that I will use at some point, but it's nice to have. Good amount on hand. It was on sale so at Menards, so I bought a whole bunch, and so did my dad. It's like a competition. It's like who can buy the most on sale things ever. I don't suggest buying anything unless you need it. Really need it, unless it's on sale. Then buy as much as you can. Okay, so that's good right there. So input, output, doesn't really matter, but this is the inputs and outputs. On my car radiator, input is on the top, output on the bottom, and I think that's pretty much standard. But obviously this wouldn't make much of a difference. My plan is, I think this is actually about the right size. Yeah, that's within the noise for the size. So this would actually fit right next to that. I've actually used these before. It's a little thermostat switch, so when it gets hot enough, it turns on or it allows current to flow. And then this little screw-in mounting thing, whatever you want to call it. And the first time I used this, I didn't have the idea of using one of these until I finally seen this at Menards, and then thought, oh hey, I could use it for that. So this screws in here, and actually this is tapered, isn't it? Slightly tapered maybe, but I suppose I still would use like that red gasket maker or Teflon tape. I don't like the Teflon tape. You gotta remember which way to go. I don't use it that often, so I don't always remember. So, but this might actually conform to it by itself. But anyway, the problem I had with this, and of course I got a bigger size too for a bigger line. I think I have, where this is going, I have a little adapter, a step down adapter. So it goes, I think, from this size to down to this size. So I might want to use one preferred over this one, over the other one anyway. I think I want to use this one instead of this one. Depends on where I put it. But problem I've had with these thermostat switches is, even though copper, I think this is copper, I don't think the heat transfer rate isn't that bad, but it still takes a little bit of time. As you can see, this is actually one of them that I used. This little sensor. it's got some of that red gasket stuff on it. As you can see, this whole sensor switch doesn't go into this piece of copper or this adapter very far, so the heat transfer rate is still going to be delayed. And this is like 160 degree, at least that's what it says. I marked it. That could be wrong, but what I did was I started drilling a hole in here so coolant can actually access it further into the material, and hopefully well, it worked. I'm pretty sure I got quicker response out of the switch, so that's another thing. So, and this actually same size thread and for the sensor. So I mount it here, whichever one I use, and then this is the wires for the fan. So connect it. So when this gets hot, this turns on, and that'd be great. I mean, I think that would take care of a lot of my cooling issues. So one thing I wanted to show you is another little project I had. This is a 7.5 amp 12 volt battery. I bought this one from Fleet Farm for like 20 some bucks. I bought it, the practically identical one over there, for $17 on Amazon. This is lead acid. This isn't lithium ion. It goes in your car, or goes into a 12 volt system just fine. No special adapters or anything. I'm thinking about possibly not using this, but if I use a battery like this, then the surge watts won't pop a fuse probably, even though I got a 15 amp fuse here. But cute little battery for putting out power, and I can test things with it too. This is a cord. You can get like a pack of 10 or whatever of this to this. So there's this connector on both sides, and you get a black wire and a red wire, and some are reversed. So that's another tip. That's one of the problems I've had with those. So, and this is the same exact thing. So if you plug this in, if I haven't plugged this in yet, so some of these are just bent up a little bit, so it's harder to plug it in. Okay. Wish I had my voltmeter over here. As you can see, this wire goes all the way through to the negative. Thanks a lot. This wire goes to the positive. This is backwards. So this is one of these wrong plugs, but you just got to be mindful of it. Gotta empty this out for the next test I'm gonna do. I need a little piece of plastic or flexible material. So they have these stupid little connectors that should never exist. They should always be like a double connector or something. I just don't like these. So what I'm gonna do, I got my wire cutter / stripper. I'm gonna cut these off like I've done on many other fans. I actually have the same fan. Two of the fans on my radiator shroud. I made an aluminum one for it, and it did a lot better job than just mounting it to the radiator. I would suggest don't ever do that. Build or buy a radiator shroud, because it'll increase your efficiency by a lot. I actually have the same two of the fans are the same, and I have those just soldered. I gotta put connectors on this so I can easily take off the shroud and put it back on. So that's something else I gotta do. Do a shroud update. Wow, engine radiator shroud assembly update. Alright, so I want to figure out if this black wire is negative and this blue wire is positive, and it most likely is. So, right, switch it around because that's it. That's the way it's wired. Okay, so that's that. And well, this will determine which way I want to hook it up, because it'll run both ways, I'm pretty sure, if it's like any other fan I've had, radiator fans. So I just want to make sure this is the way I want to set it up, so it's sucking air from the front all the time. So okay, so it looked like it did. It was going the right way. Now yeah, look at that. It's sucking. And it's sucking a lot. Okay, so what I want to keep in mind is that this is positive and that's negative, and that's the way I want to hook it up. So what I'm going to do right now is actually put a little bit of shrink wrap farther down on the wire of correct polarity, or color to polarity for each wire. So actually black, I'm gonna leave that one because that's actually correct. That's a pet peeve of mine. Why do they have they get one color right on that, and then they throw a blue one in there? When you're talking about positive and negative, there's only two colors, red and black. Use those. I don't see any other reason to have a blue. I don't see any reason at all to have a blue wire in here. So, thanks a lot. Oh. Turn my my little soldering iron on here. I have used the higher setting on my soldering iron for shrink wrap. I would suggest don't do that. It kind of really destroys the wire, or the shrink wrap. I would suggest using it the low heat setting. Will this fit on here, or do I need a bigger one? I wish I would have bought like all reds for all the different sizes and all blacks for the other same size, just different corresponding color. I think this will shrink enough. Maybe not. Might just put two in here. Might be good. No, let's put another one in there. Will this one fit on here? Yeah, that'll fit. Okay, so. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, this will be fine. Now, I plan on stripping more off of that wire, so I'm going to put it down as far as I can. And shrink wrap is great. All you do is hold it here, and it starts shrinking. And it's practically unremovable after you shrink it. So it is the way to go. I'm going to touch it, but it's hot. Supposedly this is the 200-degree setting, and it goes up to 450 supposedly. I bought this one on Amazon as well, and I don't remember. It was like 100 years ago. No, quite a few years ago I bought this. And it came with some other tools and whatnot. So this is a 110 volt, obviously plugs into a regular wall socket at 60 watts. So the good thing is I could run this soldering iron off of this, because this is a 150 amp output. So it says 1.25 amps at 120 volts. So supposedly it could run that, which would be good. Would be nice. Maybe I'll test it someday. But Ryobi actually has an 18 volt soldering iron. They got two versions, I think, the little soldering stations. So it's probably like very similar. Wow, maybe that doesn't have to go to DC, AC. I don't know. But I would suggest buying this. Whatever soldering iron you have or want to get, just go with that instead of buying the 18 volt soldering kit. So yeah, hopefully I make a video of installing the second cooler and an overview of what I have done to my Lincoln and what I plan on doing, and things that I have to redo and all that stuff. So hopefully you like this video, and hopefully you subscribe to more cool, interesting, weird stuff, which I love doing. Yeah, and thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day.